Okay, guys, we are starting chapter 12. This is completely different than what you've been doing pretty much all year. Now we're doing geometry. And so we're going to be doing geometry this week. And then we're moving into area and volume. And if we get to chapter 14, good. If not, it's okay. But you will have at least, by state requirements, gotten everything in for the year.
Was it chapter 13 is area and volume?
Yep.
Oh, no, we don't even know that.
All right. 12.1 Basic Geometry Figures. Okay, we've got quite a bit of notes, but a lot of this stuff you'll probably recognize from the previous years, like way previous and everything. So it's not going to be that bad. Geometry. Geometry is the study of points, lines, planes, and the figures they form. The study of points, lines, planes, and the figures they form. Point. It's the exact location in space. It's represented by a dot. Point A. That's a dot and an A, and that's an example. It could be point Q, point S, point T, but it's usually a dot with the letter, meaning the name of that dot underneath. Now, some people may represent it in a different way. It's not that big of a deal. Line. And you kind of need to know this stuff. When you're younger, it's not so detrimental. It's like, oh yeah, I know what a line is. I know what a point is. Okay, now, because the next time you see this stuff is going to be in your high school class, that's just geometry. And because you don't get this in Algebra 1. So this is going to be the last time you see this until that high school class. So you really need to pay attention to these details. It'll better prepare you for that class. A line is a set of points that extends infinitely in opposite directions. Now, what's interesting that kids have trouble wrapping their heads around? It's a set of points. So when you see a line like right here, let's pretend like this is a line right here. That is, in reality, a whole bunch of little bitty points. Just so many little points all close together that it forms a line. So a lot of people don't realize that until this year, that a line is a set of points that extends infinitely. That means forever and ever and ever and ever, without stopping, in opposite directions. That's not a line. This is a line. Look, it's a set of points that there's so many, but it's going forever this direction and forever in that direction. And it's represented usually by a name. It can be like line B, C. And I'm going to show you in more detail what it looks like. Well, I can do that now, I guess. So like this would be written with the symbol, that's a line, over BC. And it's read line BC. Okay, now, please remember, if you do not do the little arrows up there, it's going to be wrong. So the symbol, if I'm referring to this line, line BC, you write it like this. This is how you write it. And you have to have that symbol up there. That's the one thing kids tend to forget, is putting that little symbol up there. All right. Line segment. It's a set of points that stops with 2 endpoints. It's a set of points that stops with 2 endpoints. That's a line segment. That's line segment BC. And it's written like that. Line segment BC. That's how it's read. Now, some people want to put the little dots right here, and that's fine. I'll even put that. But you don't have to. So notice the difference. This has the arrows that go, because it signifies it goes on and on in both directions. This does not have the arrows because it stops. And they are 2 totally different things, and you need to make sure you know that. All right, next one is array. I'm not going to give you a bunch of words for that one. Array looks like this. That would be your array. And it's written like that. And it's read Ray BC. Now, let me explain where kids, I mean, when I can almost guarantee someone today is going to get messed up. A common mistake is this. I'm going to put 2 stars here. The letter at the end point is always the first letter stated. The letter at the end point is the first letter stated.
But if it's a line, there is no.
I'm talking about array.
Oh, just a
We're this is all under array. What?
So whatever you write it, it's BC with array on top of it. Is it kind of like how the array itself works, where B is always on the left and C is always on the right? If you switch it, C would be on the left and B would be on the right.
Well, I mean, let's say it's going the other direction. Let's say it was doing this. It very well could be that way. And in that case, it would be written as Ray CB. Yes. Because you want the letter that's with the endpoint to always be first. Always, always, always.
But if the ray is facing the other way, then when you write the letters, would you write the ray
No.
facing the other way?
The ray needs to always go this direction. Always goes facing the right.
So if the little arrowhead was on the other side of this one, the most recent one that you just did, not that one. If the arrowhead was on the side with the C, then it would be BC. If it was like this instead, and then the B was right
Then
here,
it would be,
BC. If you got rid of
is that C right there? Then it would be BC, yes.
And you
So
still have to write
all
it.
you need to remember, guys, all you need to remember is whatever letter is at the end point, that letter is stated first. Otherwise, it's wrong. Your arrow needs to face this direction. Does that make sense? Okay. Does everyone have that down? And for some reason, that's the one thing that everyone gets confused on. They accidentally write it wrong. And I do have to mark off if you do that. So please be careful. You got it? All right, good. Okay. Plane. It is a flat surface that extends infinitely in all directions. So it's a flat surface that extends infinitely in all directions. And we'll talk more about these later.
And if you square
Yeah. We'll talk about planes a little bit more later.
Oh, put differences in one direction.
Got it?
Yes.
All right, angle.
I don't. What are the dots in the A, B, C for?
That means it's plane ABC. That's the name of it. That means plane ABC. Well, like I said, we'll go over that a little more later. All right, angle is a geometric figure made up of two rays that have a common endpoint. Geometric figure made up of two rays and have a common endpoint. Y'all always known what an angle looks like, but now you know it's made of two rays with one common endpoint. When you're done writing, you need to put your pencil down, so that tells me you're finished. All right. It looks like this. Well, it can look like a lot of things. So, if you look, you see there's a ray, and you see A is at that endpoint, right? And here's a ray, and A again is the endpoint. So it's made of two rays that have one common endpoint. Vertex. It is the common endpoint of two rays. Basically, the endpoint of an angle.
Or figure.
Right. So there's your vertex. Now, you may not think that that's all that important, but it is. When you are naming angles, again, just like the rays, here's a problem that a lot of students face, and they're like, I don't understand why I get this wrong. I don't understand. Well, it's such a minute little problem, but it will get you in trouble every time. So, step one, you're going to place the sign that looks like that before the letters. And I'm putting a star here. Always make the vertex the middle letter. The vertex is always in the middle. Vertex is always the middle letter. For example, it could be angle BAC or CAB. As long as the vertex is in the middle. Sometimes you can just use, you can use the vertex to name the angle. For example, angle A. Now, I'll let y'all catch up. If you have a ton of angles, now listen carefully because I'm not writing this down, I'm using my words. If you have a ton of angles together, you need to do the 3 letters. I mean, like, for example, let's say this is D. This is C, E, F, and G. If I were to say, which angle is 50 degrees? If you tell me angle D, I'll probably get mad. Because there's 1 angle there, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, there's 5. There's at least 5 angles. There's more than that, but there's at least 5 angles there. If you were to tell me angle D, that would not help me at all. That wouldn't help anyone. So in this case, you cannot do that. You have to do like CDE or CDF or EDG. You see what I'm saying? You can't just do step 3, angle D. You have to be specific. And I have students that will try to do that. They're like, but you told us in the notes. Oh, no. I'm telling you now, they will sometimes talk like this case. If it's just a single angle like that, yeah, angle A. But if you're being specific with a bunch of angles, don't tell me angle D. It will get you in trouble. My advice to my students, even if your book uses this, get used to doing this. Because this will never, do you wrong. All right? Any questions?
No.
All right. Let's open up our books. If you haven't already, to examples,
48.
page 488. All right. So I'm looking around, make sure everyone's there.
There's no one else.
Okay. Part A, Section A. Name all of the following found in the figure using the letters D, E, F. Does everyone see? Okay. Does everyone see the figure that we're referring to? Okay, very good. All right, so number 2 says to name some lines. We're looking for lines. So, let's see. Raise your hand if you can tell me one line. Gabby. Okay, line D, E. And it has to be written that way. Michael, tell me another one. Line EF. Cecilia, name one more. Okay, line FD.
Could it also be DF?
Now, if you were to write line DF, that is fine, but it's still the same line. So if they say, name 3 lines from this figure, if you were to tell me line FD, line DF, and line EF, that's only 2. This counts as one line. Y'all see that? But you can write it either way. It's not a ray, so the letters and their positions don't matter.
I'm headed on down. She's on her way.
Okay.
So she'll just be coming.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Let me pause the video real quick. All right. So any questions about number 2?
No.
She
All
said why way.
4. Segments. They're talking about line segments this time. Emily, name one line segment. Yes. Okay, it can be EF, but what does the symbol look like? Does it have arrows? So what does the symbol look like? It's just a straight line. Very good. All right, Cecilia.
FD. Yeah.
Okay, you're right. FD. Joanne.
D.
Okay. There you go.
I sure D.
Any questions so far? All right, let's look at 6. It says, draw and label the following geometric figures. This says, so what would that be? Gabby? That's a line segment. So how would I actually draw it? Two endpoints. Very good. That is your line segment LM. Any questions so far? All right, 8. This one, let's see. I haven't heard from Whit. What is this?
Ray YZ, and so you're gonna put an endpoint and then an arrow, and then on the endpoint you're gonna put Y, and then draw the line and the arrow, and then you're gonna put Z.
Very good. If you do Z and Y, it is wrong. Okay. Any questions so far? All right, number 10. It says, use the figure at the right for exercises 9 through 11. So do you see the figure to the right?
Yeah.
All right, so 10 says, name a segment with endpoint C. A segment with endpoint C. Oh, Cecilia.
PC.
Okay. Now, and it says segment, so they're referring to line segment. So it's just going to be a line up there. Very good. Is there another one? Gabby? Okay. Very good. Any questions? All right, let's look at 12.
Couldn't AB also be one?
Yeah. I don't see why that would be a problem.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, because the directions say with an endpoint of C. All right, 12. Name, okay, so this time we're going to be using the figure at the right. So notice that angle. And number 12 says, name the sides and vertex of the angle. Aiden, I haven't heard from you. So, name the sides.
P and R.
Oh, no. How do we name the sides of an angle? Shh. Aiden?
Sure.
Okay, look at your notes where we talked about angles. You see it?
Mm-hmm.
So how would we name the sides?
It doesn't say side. It just says
What's an angle made of?
a vertex, which is vertex would be Q.
Okay, so the vertex would be Q.
I don't understand what Atlas means by side. I don't see any distance.
Oh, okay, so what is an angle? What did we write that an angle is made of? Read what you have for angle.
2 rays.
Ooh. Ooh. So each side is a
Right.
Very good. Each side of that angle is a ray. How do we name a ray?
Just an endpoint.
Ah, so what would be one side of that angle?
PQ. Or Q. Yeah.
Which one? How do we write a ray? What goes first?
That point.
Okay. So how would we write the two sides?
QP, QR.
Okay. And what symbol?
A line with an arrow.
So, yeah, there you go. So, guys, look, the vertex is Q. So, the first letter of the ray has to be Q. And the other one would be QR. Ray QR. Do y'all see that? If you accidentally put PQ, it would be wrong. Do y'all see that? The vertex always comes first. Does that help, Aiden? All right, 14. Okay, it says find the measure of the following angles and classify each according to its angle measure. Express each angle's measure in proper notation. All right, guys, get out your protractors. Get out your protractors. Now, we've been learning about how to use our protractors in class when we've done the circle graphs. So, someone use their protractor, because you're all going to have to do this. Use your protractor and give me, and I'm going to tell you, I have a rule. You have to get as close to the actual answer as possible within 5 degrees. Within 5 degrees. So if you're not perfect, it's fine, but you have to get within 5 degrees. All right, Gabby? 90 what? Okay, you're close. What did you get?
Shoot. I got 92.
You got 90 or 92?
90.
Okay.
T-O-O.
I got 89.
91.
Getting closer. The actual answer is 92. So you would write it as angle E, or you can say angle FED equals 92 degrees.
How do you do it?
Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to tell y'all about acute and everything.
Aw, we already know.
Just in case, I got to write down. Now, if you had done 90 degrees or 91 degrees or something like that, even 89, I would not have counted wrong.
I'm gonna how do we use this? I know
Oh, I've shown y'all.
I know how to use it, but like with this, where do you
Well, I'll show you again in a minute. Let's write this down real quick. Because I don't know how I forgot that. Acute, it's less than 90 degrees. It's going to look like something like that. It might even look, a little bit bigger, like 89 degrees. Looks almost like a 90-degree angle, but it's not. That would still be acute. It's less than 90. Obtuse, it's greater than 90. Right angle, 90 degrees. And it is shown typically with the little box that says it's right. And then the last one is straight. You need to be writing. And that is 180 degrees. That is an angle that is a straight line. So write those down real quick. And we'll go back to this. Put your pencil down when you're done. Okay, so back here, This is 92 degrees. The next thing says to tell what kind of an angle it is. So what would that be? Joanne? Obtuse. So it's angle E, or you can write angle FED. It doesn't matter. I prefer right now you do it this way, though. Get used to it. 92 degrees, and it's obtuse. Now, a little tidbit of information. Let me see your book. Your book. Thank you. All right. So look at 14. If I were to try and measure this, the point, the center little point, goes there on your vertex. You can line up this line on this line here, or you could even do it this way, upside down. See how I've lined it up? Now, notice even if I do it this way, you've got to be able to extend that line and figure out where it's going to. So what I tell my students to do is extend the line. Let me see your pencil. Extend the line in your book. You got to be careful and close. See how I've extended it? Now, watch this, if I extended it far enough. Look here. Now this line that I drew goes right through the lines. Do you see what I'm saying? Then it's a little bit easier. Oh, and look, it's right at 92. It is right at 92. So my point is, when you're trying to measure these things in your book, unless you have one of those miniature little protractors, extend your lines. Now, if you're not careful and you extend it wrong, then you're going to get a wrong measurement. You see what I'm saying? So my students, in their books, you're going to see lines all over the place. Does that make sense? If you extend them and you're careful, see how that line is real faint, it goes right to 92. Right here. Does that help? All right, let's look at the next one. "16. Extend those lines, measure, and tell me what you get. Someone different this time. Michaela, I don't see you trying to measure. I see other people trying to measure. I do not. In fact, I'm going to ask you. 16, what'd you get?
I haven't done it yet.
I know, we're waiting. Everyone else is already measuring.
For all the angles?
For 16, there's only one angle there.
How do you...
I just showed you.
I know that you just showed me others.
Emily, you got something?
67.
Oh, close. No, you're guessing. Cecilia, what'd you get? Okay, did you get something yet?
147.
Oh, she's close. 147. Aiden?
153.
Oh, he's the closest.
I don't know which one is
52.
yours.
You're guessing.
I think this is yours.
It's close to 150.
Angle, you can call it angle T, or angle STU, because the vertex has to be in the center, it is 152 degrees. If you got anywhere near that within 5 degrees, then I'd count it correct.
I had that.
Okay, Taylor? No one asked. All right. What type of angle is that? Obtuse. All right, so I showed y'all how to measure these in your books. You've got to extend those lines to make it easy on you. You've got to extend those lines to make it easy on you. Now, if you had an obtuse, like if you look at that angle, that looks obtuse. If you gave me a number of degrees or measurement less than 90, that would be absolutely wrong. Pay attention to what the angle looks like before you write down your measurement. Taylor, stop. All right, 22. All right. It says find the measure of the following angles using a protractor. 22 is angle CAE. So find CAE on there, and let's see who gets the closest. Raise your hand. Oh, Michaela.
73.
She is so close.
72.
No, don't guess. What'd you get? Okay. Now, it is 75 degrees, but like Michaela got 73. I'd count that right. So it's hard when you're doing a protractor, especially in your book, to get exactly. So I always say within 5. So if you got within 5 degrees of 75, you're doing good. Look at 24.
74.8.
Taylor, how about 24 is angle BAE? Joanne, you want to try this one? Got it? You want to pass? Cecilia, what'd you get?
162.
No. Let's see, Wit.
138.
All right.
I got the same thing.
It's actually 139,
Oh, you did.
What the heck?
but that's close. Let me see your book.
I got 140. So I mean,
139. So let me show you.
Dang it, I did it the wrong way.
Okay, let me see your pencil.
I got
Okay, notice. Okay, so if you're like, man, I'm still having trouble. Take, like, she's already done that line. She is extending her lines.
Unfortunately, I can't do it.
Okay, so she's extended her lines. You see that, Joanne? You see that? Okay. So now I'm going to choose either this is my baseline or this is my baseline. You can choose either one. I'm going to choose this one. So I put the circle on the vertex, and you see this line right here? You see this? This is your baseline. You're going to line that up. Basically, that's at 0. Okay? So then what you do, are you watching? We know that's obtuse, right? We know that's large. So we know that we're going to start right here at 0, which is 10. We're going to follow it all the way over here. And if you look, man, that looks like 140. That's why I said, see how this line goes to 140, Joanne? Okay, do you see that? I mean, do you see it? Okay, guys, if you draw your line and it kind of like, I can see Michaela's line went to about right here. So she might have said 135 or 136. That's why I said I wouldn't count it wrong, because your line extensions may be slightly off by a degree. I'm not going to count against that. If your line goes all the way here to 120, yeah, that's going to be a problem. But if you're close, you're fine. So look, Joanne, it says 110, 120, 130. So it's right before 140. So that would be 139 or 140. You wouldn't be wrong. 138, it wouldn't be wrong. Okay? Now, let me ask you this. Let's say you measured, this is your base, and this is everyone. Michael, wake up. This is your base, and you went all the way over here. Oh, look, it's 40. See, the top row says 40, right? Is this a 40-degree angle? Do you know how many kids will write 40 because they're looking at this and they're going by that top row? Oh, I guarantee people do, because they're not thinking, you know? So you got to say, does that even look like 40? No way, that's obtuse. 40 is acute. So before you write down your answer, make sure it makes sense. Now let's say I'm measuring over here. So there's the vertex is in my point. I've lined up this line right here on this base line. Whoops. And in this case, Joanne, I'm going to start again at 0, but I'm using the top row because we always start at 0. And then I'd go all the way over here, and look, it's right there at the 149, not at the, whatever this is. What is that, 42? Yeah, if you say 42, again, that's not going to make sense because this is an obtuse angle. But see, 130, 139, 38, whatever, that's real close. So either way, just make sure that wherever your base is, you start at 0. Because that is a common mistake. They're like, which one do I do? Which row do I do? You got to follow that base. That means 0. Then start with the 10 and go around. Okay? Does that help? Okay. Does that help? You got it? All right. Last one is 26. What is the measurement? And yes, they do have like little M's. It doesn't matter. If you put the M there or not, I don't care. Measurement of B, P, C. And I'm going to let Joanne redeem herself. You got this. Got it, Joanne? You want to pass?
No, I just can't.
I understand. It happens. Let me know if you want to pass.
So 22, 24, 26 are the same thing. The only difference is the M. It's like
Yeah.
the same thing.
Pretty much. What? What? She is 100% correct. It is 40 degrees.
I've been like one off on like all of them.
I've got 41.
Good job.
I mean,
Talk about redeeming yourself. She nailed it. All right. Now, Joanna, is that what kind of angle is that? Obtuse, acute, right, straight. There you go. All right. Any questions? I think all my ducks have figured it out, little ducklings. You will be doing page 488 to 489. You will be doing
0 through 0.
number
Number 1 even.
right.
Yeah. Number 21.
You'll be doing number 15 and 21 through 27 odd. Yeah, right.
Can it be please? We're like amazing students.
21, 27 even. That's it.
You should do the work too.
Okay.
See how long it takes.
Due Tuesday.
Oh, thank you, Miss Rogers. Oh my gosh.
All right. I know.
Don't put